Hi everybody, Cynthia here. I'm back to share with you how I created this super cute gift card holder with the balloon embellishment and also the envelope that it goes in. And I'll just show you here with an old gift card. It slides in this way, closes up, and whoop, pops right in there. And you actually got some extra room in the envelope. It's a nice size. So anyway, we're going to create this today. First thing we're going to do though is create our balloon embellishment, which is pretty easy. And then the paper pad I'm using is the same one I showed in a previous video. It's called Floral Geo from Hobby Lobby. Okay, so let's get started on the balloons. I used some twine and I used stitched balloon dies, and that's these right here. And I purchased these on Amazon, and if I can find them again, I'll post a link below this video. Let me turn my other light on so we can... I didn't realize I didn't have my other light on here. Give us some more light. There we go. And I used the tiniest one in 3 different colors. Okay, but I'll post a link below if they still have it for sale. Oh, and then also for this sentiment here that I created, the die I use is from this set here. I also purchased on Amazon. And there's a really teeny tiny one here. I didn't use that. I used the next size up for my sentiment. Okay. All right. So let's get started. All I did, I'm going to need a little bit of liquid glue. And I'm using some foam tape as well to create dimension. But what I did was I started with the blue balloon in the center and then yellow in the salmon pink color. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of the yellow, just on the right side of the back. And I just layered it down a little bit from the center. Kind of like it's going to go in a little arch. So the blue one's going to be a little bit higher than the yellow and the pink. And press that down. And then since the yellow's laying on top of the blue, I wanted the pink to lay behind. So I'm going to flip it over again. I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue on that edge. And I'm going to, the stem of my balloon, I'm going to kind of tuck into the center and have it down a little bit. So it's kind of like in an arch. And the nice thing about this, say you want to make a bunch of these. I'm just going to lay this on top to see if it's pretty close. And yes, it is. So once you've made one up and you really like the look of it, the easiest thing you can do so that you can make a bunch and that they match pretty much the same is you're going to start with your blue balloon and you're going to stick it right on top and leave it there. Then you're going to take your yellow, flip it around, add a little bit of glue, pick it up, and lay your yellow balloon on top of this yellow balloon. And push down. Okay? Now, you want to take your pink balloon, since it's going to be on the bottom of the blue, you're going to lay that right on top of that pink balloon. Add a little bit of glue to the edge here of your pink balloon, and you're going to lay this piece right on top of the blue and the yellow and press down. And then I'm all thumbs today, guys. And then you have 2 embellishments of the same, pretty much the same size, laying the same way. And you can just keep doing that, layering and layering and layering until you get as many balloons as you want. So that's pretty much what I did with all my different sized balloon embellishments. Once I got one done where I liked the look of it, I just continued to, here's some pieces here. I just continued to make more by laying the yellow on top of there, adding a little bit of glue, then layering on top of that, and then layering underneath. So it's just a little trick if you are going to be making a bunch of the same embellishments, to kind of do a layering like that, and that way they'll pretty much come out the same each time. And when I also did that with my larger balloons as well, when I got the look that I wanted, I went in and layered same exact way. Okay. All right, let me tuck these back in the bag. And then all I did to create the stems or the balloon strings is I took some twine and I thought my glue gun was on. Okay, it wasn't on. Let's let that heat up a little bit. Once you stamp out your sentiment, what I did, I put behind some foam tape. You're going to do the same thing. Once you get your stems glued on, you're going to cut. Oh, I think I have one open already. Yeah, I do. Okay. Just going to cut little pieces of foam. And you're going to put them right on top of each balloon. And that piece of twine just kind of secures it a little more, you know. Okay, so we have our foam on the back. I'm just going to show you really quick. I'm just going to lay... Oh, come on, you hot glue gun, you. I know you were just working a second ago. Okay, so you're just going to, I'm going to show you with liquid glue. You're just going to lay the glue right there at the stems of the balloons, and you're going to lay a piece of twine there, and then cut, piece of twine, and cut, and piece of twine, and cut. Now I always cut a little bit of extra because I never know what project I'm going to be putting these on. And then once you actually get it on your project, like this, then you can go ahead in and trim off the excess. Okay? Alright, so actually those kind of stayed pretty good with that liquid glue. I'm surprised. So I'm just going to add some foam to the back of the balloons, and I'm putting it right over that stem piece just to kind of give it a little more support. I know it's really going to stay on there well. Alright, so those are the balloon embellishments, and that's how I made those. Let's move on to our gift card and our envelope. Sorry about that. I forgot to turn my phone on vibrate, and somebody is texting me. Okay, so what you're going to need is a piece for your gift card that measures 8.5 by 3.5. And you want to get out your scoreboard. Okay, line it up at the 8.5 inch mark, and you're going to score at 3.5. And again at 7 inches. So 3.5, 7. Flip it around, line it up at the 3.5 inch mark, and you're going to score at a 1/2 inch. and 3 inches. Now that's for the gift card holder. We're going to take our score lines, fold them up, okay, so we're going to end up, this is your 1/2 inch section over here and your 1/2 inch section over here. The only part you're going to leave is the bottom part here. So you're going to cut into the score line, and then you're going to cut this whole section off. So you want to take your time doing this. I do it with my scissors. You can put it in your cutter. Some people like to do it with their cutters. It's completely up to you. I think if I flip this over, I can see it better. Ah, yes, I can. Sometimes white cardstock, it's hard to see your score line, and I even have my glasses on. Okay, same thing over here. Cut into your score line, and then cut this whole 1/2 inch section off. Okay, and then the bottom here, these 2 flaps are going to come in. This is actually going to create your pocket, but what I like to do is I like to cut these 2 tabs at a little angle. So that way, when I fold them in and fold them up, they fold up really nice. Okay, I'm just going to score over that, get rid of the excess. Okay, so then what you're going to do is, well, what I did is I rounded my corners at the top here, and then I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to round those corners. Wait, did I? No, I didn't. Don't do that. Round the top corners here, and then fold this in and round the corners on the bottom. Oi, oi, oi. Okay, so the top of our gift card is the straight edge. This part's rounded, and the pocket we're creating, we rounded that off. Then we're going to cover it with our pattern paper. So this is the inside of our gift card holder, and my piece that I'm going to put here on the inside, I used a pink and white stripe one, but I ran out of that pattern, so this one I'm just using the pink polka dot. I'm going to round the bottom corners here, and this measures 3 3/8 by 2 3/8. Okay, and then you can fold these 2 tabs in, add a little liquid glue to the sides, or use your 2-sided tape. That's all up to you, how you want to do that. Fold that up, and then on the bottom, because I rounded the corners, as you could see here, it's a little open. If I put my fingernail in there, I can get that open. So I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid glue right there at the very bottom and pinch those corners. And that way they're nice and sealed. You don't have to do that, but I just think it finishes it off a little bit nicer. So then the piece that's going to go on our pocket here, You're going to want to round the bottom corners for this as well. And this measures 2 3/8 by 1 3/8. I'll put that right on our pocket. And then we're going to flip it over, and the 2 blue pattern pieces here, you're going to want to round the bottom of each one. So round the bottom of this and round the bottom of this one to go here. So this measures 3 3/8 by 2 3/8. Excuse me one second. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I had somebody knocking on my door and I had to stop to go answer it. Okay, so then this section here, it is also 3 3/8 by 2 3/8. So the 2 sections on the outside and this inner section here, the same exact sizes. And you can stamp and write your sentiment up here, whatever you like to do. Now before I decorate the front, what I like to do, since my pocket is now dry, is I go in with my bone folder and I kind of just run it along the edge to loosen it up. And that way it loosens it up enough to get that gift card holder in there. Okay? All right, get the gift card holder out. Let me make sure. I didn't really, there we go. Run that bone folder over very well. Okay, so let's decorate the front. The piece that I'm using here is the pink and white striped. I'm gonna round the bottom corners of it. And this measures 3 by 2 inches. And I'm going to center that as best I can. Run my bone folder over it. And then we're going to take those balloons and peel off the backing of that foam tape. And get my tweezers here. And I'm just going to center them at the top of that pink piece. Now right in here is where I'm probably going to lay my sentiment, but I kind of want these to glue together and then come out and separate at the bottom. So I'm going to figure out where I want that. Add a little bit of liquid glue and kind of pinch that together and separate them at the bottom. And I'm just going to hold that for a second till it dries. And like I said, on the back of my sentiment here, I put a piece of foam tape on this side and this side, so it would have some dimension and go right over those balloons, the balloon strings. Okay, right like that. And then I made a little bow out of the 1/8 of an inch navy blue ribbon I have. And this one's just a tiny little one. I'm going to add a little glue to the back of this. And I'm going to pop that right above my sentiment. A gift for you. Oh. Okay. And then to finish that off, I have some gold glitter glue, some blue Studio G glitter glue, and some pink. And I'm going to put a pink dot on the balloon and right here on my sentiment. The same with the blue. Little blue dot on my balloon and on my sentiment. And finish it off with the gold. And that is the actual gift card holder. We're going to set the gift card holder aside, and we are going to create our envelope for it. Let me get all my scrap pieces out of the way. For the envelope, you're going to need a piece that measures 7 inches by 5.5. Get out my scoreboard for you guys. Line it up at the 7 inches. Score at 2 inches. And again at 5 inches. Flip it around. Line it up at the 5.5 inch mark. Score at 1 inch. And 5 inches. And we're going to fold up our score lines. And we're going to be cutting off the 4 corners. Okay. So down here in your 1/2 inch section, you're going to want to cut on this score line here. And this one here, and cut that piece off. Go to your next score line and cut this corner off. Same with the top. Cut this piece off and this piece off. Okay, so you have your 4 corners cut off. You have a 1/2 inch tab here, that's going to be your bottom piece, and we're eventually going to fold these in together. This is going to be your 1/2 inch flap that flaps up, and this is going to be your top flap that flaps down. But right now, let me just trim this piece here. I got a little corner. There we go. We're just going to close it and round off the corners. So this is the top flap here we're rounding off. And I'm going to round off the bottom as well. Why not? Gotta be careful to cut right on those score lines, or else I'm going to end up like I did, having to go back in and trim it. Okay. So this is the top, 1/2 inches on the bottom. I'm going to take a little bit of liquid glue and I'm going to run it along the inside of that flap. I'm going to close this flap and run it all along the edge of this flap. And then you're going to fold them in. And then I'm going to run liquid glue along the edge of the 1/2 inch flap on the bottom. Fold that right up. Run my bone folder over them. And And that's it, guys. That is the envelope. Let me make sure I pick out the one that's already dry. Yes. Okay. Just tucks nicely inside. And then I'm not going to seal it up right away, but I am going to take some of my double-sided tape here, and I'm just going to lay it across the top inside of the flap and leave it on there, and then it's ready to go. All I have to do is peel the backing off and close it up. So that's it, guys. That is our balloon embellishment gift card holder and envelope. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Thanks so much for watching. Take care and happy crafting.